Hello, I'm Donovan Vasquez Gonzalez, and I will present my evidence once for effective presentation workshop. The graphic elements. Well, the graphic elements is an important note to the graphics and diagrams in presentations give a better image and contrast to presentation when presenting a public. Two, the tables. The tables is used to combine rows and columns in which an information that appears on the sliders or the presentation can be displayed in an orderly way so the public better understand that you wanted to explain. The text and the with animations. This gives presentation very creative and point of view, and that well placing text with animation audience is more attracted to the presentation. The sounds. It is extremely important to know that the sound for many people is the most essential when paying attention. The images. Images are very important factor in the presentation. Since you can explain something with a simple images, and you make the public understand and look in that. Effects. The effects can be varied. They can be animate effects in the presentation, which are used to attract more and viewer and the rating of the presentation. The textures. The texture in the mesh are important with the presentation. It can have different textures with the larger images or the presentation brings the viewer. The videos. I consider the videos to be the most important when presentation as a video support in your presentation. The colors. Colors are more important point in the presentation. Since with the colors you make the audience feel certain emotion and sensation when perceiving different types of the colors. Shapes. The shapes like for making the viewer perceive the presentation with strict shapes for their taste. Lines. When you use different types of the lines, you make the letter to highlight, some explain or simple to give margin to the page is something very important to give a formal term of the presentation. Tones. The tones depend of the information you are going to presentation and the audience you are going to address in your presentation. Types, typeface. The typeface depends of the public, the audience. Since each typeface can be difficult or easy for the audience to see and read. So it is good to find a typeface so the audience can feel comfortable. Contrast and adequate contrast can help you to make a presentation successful and size modify the breakdowns. The balance in the presentation are very important signs that your presentation can be made very easy to understand with information arrived and appropriate your slide and can support you in a presentation. Well, my abilities. I consider it. I consider it that even have these elements well studied. It is always good to verify that the presentation is adequate for the type audience you are targeting. In the same way, you must learn that there are different ways of presentation, such as your voice, it with images and with things for different types of the audience. I consider that I have good voice with with a presentation tone for listening and vocabulary understandable to the audience. I have no shame when speaking in public, but but I don't have the factors to need reforms such to better learn to the language which I'm going to present and study the subjects a little more to understand them and understand them perfectly.